Hey, what's up, guys? Sean, long time no see. Today I want to talk about being artistic while I'm walking my dog. I can't recall a time I've ever felt less artistic than I feel now. And this is coming from a guy who defined his life as being an artist, who lived in Nashville, wrote songs, toured, did all that kind of stuff. And it was my life until my early 40s, really. And then I was, after that, trying to create some kind of stability for the family. But in doing so, I completely lost my way artistically and, forgot about the entire reason I ever got into being an artist. It's because I was compelled to. Had nothing to do with, making a living, had nothing to do with any of that shit. So, when you start out specifically as an instrumentalist or singer, doesn't matter, imitating other people's, styles, other people's licks, trying to learn some things to get some dexterity in your fingers. And, I don't care if you're a classical player, you're learning Mozart, Chopin, Beethoven, that kind of stuff. You really never progress much beyond that. I guess maybe there's some interpretation at the high concert levels, but I don't know. But as a contemporary musician, it's so important. Put it this way, there's very few people who are artists. There's a lot of interpreters and a lot of people who can mimic and, they're trying to clone other people's playing. I've never been into that. Like when I was coming up as a guitar player, I never tried to clone, Eddie Van Halen's style. I learned how to pull off and did taps and stuff like that. But I wasn't really interested in playing them exactly like him. I took what he did, and that spurred ideas of my own because I was so intensely creative. And he created my own ways of tapping and my own patterns of licks after the basic, hidlia, blues things and the basic boxes that you play. I always tried to come up with my own things because I was artistic. And I would hear other people's music and it would spur inspiration for me to create my own music. And then as a cover musician, it was ridiculous. I never wanted to be a cover musician. And the fact that people want to come out and hear someone interpret other people's music has always confounded me. Even though I do that, I never understood why, because it's like, it's never going to sound like the original artist anyway. And if you try to sound like the original artist, it makes you look more like a fucking fool up there. I always thought. Now, I do have a tribute band, and that's a whole different thing, notwithstanding. I resisted doing that for many, many years, but I'll get into that. But so being an artist is forging your own path. It's very difficult to do. It's something you're compelled to do, and you follow that muse as long as you have it. And it comes and goes in your life, and even it's important to even try to continue being artistic even when you're not feeling artistic as well, as long as you self-define as an artist. So, I always thought that was just a natural state of being, but the rest of your life contributes to how inspired you are, where you are, where you live, what you're doing in your life, your relationships, your friendships, your overall, outlook on life. Look at the past couple of years of all this crap going on. That has to have impacted and affected people's artistic outlook. But, just all I can speak about is me personally. I've known many, many great players, many, many great, better players than me, proficiently. I never sat there for years and years and years and just ran scales or patterns and just practiced alternate picking and things like that. That got fucking boring for me, man. I'm an artist. If I was sitting there practicing a bunch of scales, it inspired some ideas and it turned into a song. That's why for me, sitting down practicing for many, many years all that did was turn into me writing my own songs, creating my own patterns, coming up with my own licks, things like that, because I'm an artist. Most of the people I've ever played with have just been interpreters. They could contribute very little of their own original thing. As great a player as somebody might be, they can only play other people's licks. And I mean, that's the cold, hard truth of it. So it's important to try to develop artistically. Try to get beyond other people's licks. Take what they do, use it as inspiration, and come up with your own songs, your own patterns, your own licks. I don't give a crap what instrument you're on. You know, you're going to be fulfilled if you're an artist coming up with your own thing. And that's what I did for years and years and years. Now, later in life, I was trying to do some other things. I felt I accomplished all I wanted to artistically as a songwriter and things like that. And there is a certain art, and there's definitely a disciplined approach to trying to cop somebody else's type of playing. After you get to a certain point, if you feel like doing that, that's cool. But, you know, even for me, for years as playing and singing and performing, like I said, I never tried to sound like Elton John. I never tried to sound like Van Halen. I never tried to sound like anybody else but myself. And then I got a Journey band together, and it took me a couple years to really kind of nail down Neil's style. We had similar styles because he was an influence, but, you know, his really fast 2-note patterns and things like that, that's just not how I played. I played really fast 3- and 4-note patterns, and you know, I had to go back and try to cop his style. And there was definitely a challenge for sure. It's still a challenge, but being an artist, I grew bored with that. Even coming up with somebody else's, copying somebody else's licks, that can only take you so far. It's boring to me. Now I'd like to get into some kind of a live performance jam band situation where we're doing our own songs and or interpreting other people's music, but completely our own way, artistically speaking. So wherever the muse takes you, ultimately that's where you should go artistically, because that's what you're compelled to do. That's what God put in you. That's why you started to do this in the first place. If you sit there with a preconceived notion of what you're trying to do, like these fucking guys I've known, why'd you get into music? Oh, to get chicks. It was a fucking last thing I was thinking of. You can ask anybody who's grew up with me and who knew me. Everybody else was out partying, drinking beer, doing stupid shit. I was in my fucking room playing guitar or writing songs. You're not, if you're getting into this because you care what other people think, or you care how you look to girls or guys, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. And, most people, that's what they did. And they're just not artists because of that reason. If you're compelled to, if coming up with a great lyric or a great song or an original kind of sounding song or something different, if that's what compels you, if that's what gets you off, you get a feeling of, elation from that kind of stuff. And that's what keeps you striving for the next cool thing, that's art. That's inspiration. That comes from God. I'm thankful for all the years I've had that. I haven't really been compelled to sit down and be artistic in a long time. Since we lived in Nashville, probably the first couple of years, probably because that's what I did all day, every single day. It may have burned me out. I don't know. Also, life gets in the way. You get older. You've been doing things for so many years. It's just... But I got to tell you, try to be an artist. Try to be artistic. Take that wherever you need to take it. But just try to do your own thing. You can use other people's playing, other people's songs, other people's things to inspire you. But if we're going to take music as an art to another place, we can't be looking backwards. We have to be looking forwards. That's sounds that's playing, that's songs, stylistically. I mean, right now, art in general is, I feel it's regressed. I mean, country music in Nashville is so horrible. Pop music, horrifying. I know that there's great artists out there doing it. And, there's no recorded or broadcast medium for most of them. And so if you're trying to do this for money, if you're trying to do this, as an original artist, for notoriety, any of that kind of stuff, you're probably not an artist. You're probably really not artistic. Because no one that I've ever known that was an artist was thinking that way. So I don't know. If you got anything out of this, that's cool. Like and subscribe, share it. It's just my thoughts for the day. And Sean Mormelo, SeanMormele.com, for whatever that's worth. I've got songs out there all over iTunes and Spotify and all that kind of stuff. So we'll talk to you soon. All right. Bye.